Now, our ABC News exclusive with the mother of the Navy SEAL recruit who died after intense Hell Week training almost 3 years ago. She is demanding accountability for her son's death after the Navy ended its investigation without holding public hearings, and she says with little explanation. Will Reeve sat down with her. Good morning, Will.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. This is the latest twist in a story we've been following here for nearly 3 years. Regina Mullen was expecting a hearing for the two men she claims are responsible for her son's death, but she says she got a phone call just before Christmas telling her the hearing would not be happening. And Mullen says all along she's wanted consequences and she's wanted accountability. Right now, she says she can't get any answers. This morning, a mother's anger and demand for accountability.
He was just trying to be a hero and protect people, and it happened by his own country, by his own military.
Regina Mullen's 24-year-old son Kyle died in February 2022 after completing Navy SEALs Hell Week training. The grieving mother revealing to GMA that the cases against the men she blames for her son's death were dismissed by the Navy, and she says she hasn't been told why. Who canceled these hearings?
I don't know. They didn't tell me.
Nearly 3 years ago, Kyle Mullen had just successfully endured the 120-hour week of brutal training that pushes SEAL candidates to their physical and mental limits.
I got a text that said Hell Week secured. So I immediately called him and he answered and he was out of breath and he said, "Hey Mom, I did it. Hell Week secured." And I said, first I'm like, "Oh my God, you're all happy." And then I'm like, "Wait a minute, are you all right? Are you in a hospital? You don't sound good." And all he said to me is, "Mom, I love you, don't worry about me."
Hours later, Kyle died from bacterial pneumonia. The final medical check showing swollen legs that required him to be sent back to his barracks in a wheelchair, with abnormalities in his lungs and severe trouble breathing. A Navy investigation cited failures across multiple systems that led to a number of candidates being at a higher risk of serious injury, with inconsistent medical monitoring and lack of training among commanding officers, and an at-all-costs mindset among the candidates.
So we have a failed leadership and under a command that killed a man unnecessarily and injured many. I think it's pretty reasonable to ask for accountability.
The investigation also looked into allegations of the use of performance-enhancing drugs among SEAL candidates. Authorities say they found a bottle labeled as human growth hormone in Mullen's car, but investigators determined that Mullen died in the line of duty and not due to his own misconduct. Regina Mullen says the medical examiner told her they did not test for steroid use.
She said that they didn't test for it because it was irrelevant to the cause of death. Right from the medical examiner, the Navy medical examiner.
Mullen insists Captain Brad Geary, who was in charge of her son's trainee class, and Commander Dr. Eric Ramey are responsible. Now, with the case dismissed, Regina says questions remain about the quality of her son's medical care and that she's not been provided with answers.
The Navy's not giving me what I'm asking for, the medical treatment of Kyle's care. They're not providing it. Why won't they provide it?
We're trying to figure out what they're hiding. It's simple as that.
I want the Board of Inquiry to be reinstated. Is what I really want, so it can go public.
A lawyer for Captain Geary releasing a statement to ABC News saying, "This case was badly mishandled from the beginning. When we were noticed for the Board of Inquiry, it became very clear that a comprehensive investigation had never been done, and the deciding officer hadn't had access to all of the evidence. Through the discovery process, the Navy was forced to gather all the relevant evidence, which made continuing the case unsustainable." An attorney for Dr. Ramey telling ABC News, "We invested a substantial amount of time investigating the case with the assistance of top medical experts. The overwhelming evidence confirmed that Dr. Ramey met the medical standard of care." The Navy declining comment, citing privacy considerations for the officers. From a legal standpoint, how abnormal is this timeline and this process in general?
Cases sometimes take a long time, and that can be frustrating. The problem in this case is that when we have a dismissal, we don't have a basis for it. Secondly, when we're doing our investigation and we can't find documents, we have to question where are the documents, was there ever treatment? If there is treatment, why didn't it follow the military's protocol on medical standards?
Do you wish Kyle never went to the Navy?
Of course I do. Yeah. He'd be here today. Before he left for the Navy, I said, "How am I going to live my life if something happens to you?" He said, "Mom, you're the strongest person I know. You got this." I feel like he's counting on me to do it. If I don't, who will?
Since her son's death, Regina says she has seen some improvements in the medical protocol, saying candidates' vitals are checked more consistently and preventative antibiotics are administered prior to Hell Week so sailors don't get pneumonia like Kyle did. But Regina says more work needs to be done.
Hopefully she'll get the answers she's looking for. All right, well, thank you.